Hello, in this video I would like to dedicate my nappy head of hair to Jessie Lee Peterson. Anyway, I did a live stream Saturday night and I had some people come on, and it's kind of my time to talk with the people. I don't have a calling yet, but I'm working on it. Anyway, I had some people say in the comments that Jessie Lee Peterson doesn't like people with natural hair. Now, I like some of his work and I agree a lot of what he has to say as far as like why aren't black people talking about the abortions in the community and the killings and, you know, a lot of stuff that if you want to group the black people into a category, a lot of stuff that's holding us back, right? He's not about the victim mentality. I like what I've seen. I can't say I've seen a lot of his work, but I like what I've seen. So I was like, what? Like, I was shocked, you know? Somebody that claims to care so much about black people, why would he not like natural hair? So I saw a video that he, where him and his radio DJs were talking about, they were talking about a law that was passed. I think, you don't know if it's federal or state, in the state, and there was a lady talking, and she had a cute little afro. It was really short, and she dyed it blonde. She had a great face. It looked great on her. And then he's like, how is she like walking around with that mess in her hair? Why would she want to do that to herself? I'm like, why would she want to like wear the hair that naturally comes out of her head? God forbid. Why would she want to do that? Why would she want to? I don't know. I guess it's just such a horrible thing to wear your natural God-given hair. I guess, you know, you're not worthy, you know, of wearing your hair like natural, you know, even though, you know, fibroids and have been linked to hair chemicals, you know, that a lot of black women use. Black women have a high rate of fibroids, and it's been linked to some of the relaxers that we use in our hair. Now, they're white people that we use relaxers, but we use a higher concentration because what happens when you relax your hair, you can see my hair, I'm like driving and doing hair videos. This is bad. It's not a lot. Okay, so my hair is really curly, so in order for me to get it straight, I have to put this chemical on my head that breaks down the bonds, and you comb it into whatever shape you want. So if you want it straight, you're going to comb it straight, right? And this chemical is basically like acid that you're putting on your head, and it gives you chemical burns. If you don't rinse it out in time, it causes your hair to break off. I'm sure there haven't been a lot of studies, but knowing chemicals and how many different reactions you can have, especially if you're using them over a long period of time, they you know, can lead to all kinds of health problems, right? Not to mention all the chemicals in our environment, the chemicals we're injecting ourselves with vaccines and all that shit. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad for you. It's bad for the environment. Now, I'm not judging people that want to do that. I'm not saying that they're less worthy, but, you know, as I became more health conscious and more wanted to be more natural, I mean, that was one of the things that I found out. And so is he saying that we're supposed to you know, kill ourselves with chemicals slowly, give ourselves fibroids in order to appease what he thinks of how natural hair should be, or how a decent looking person should be, you know? Now, I understand that, you know, and there are people of all races that have dirty hair. You can have really awesome, amazing, breathtaking dreadlocks, or you can have dreadlocks that are gross. It looks like you've been rolling around on the floor and like somebody stepped in one, you know, and there's shit in it and there's like a bird's nest growing inside. You can have that too. But for your natural hair, you know, there are a lot of people, and, you know, honestly, the worst offenders of this discrimination is other black people. And believe me, hair discrimination is a thing. It is a thing. You know, you can be totally qualified. I can't think of a story where personally, I might have one somewhere. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I've known people that have gone natural during jobs and they've been told to change their hair back or cut their hair. And it's just kind of, it's frustrating because that's your natural hair. You know, like, you can't let your hair be natural, and like, you can clean it up, you can cut it, you can keep it kept and wash it. I understand if you're working in a place that's dirty and gross, but you can have clean natural hair. Anyway, I was just really shocked that he had that opinion about natural hair. And and it's disgraceful. And you know, it's especially somebody that, you know, claims to be the Christian he is. That's not a real Christianly thing that's not a Christian type mentality to have. And he was talking with his, I don't know, the guy that works with him, whatever, and he was like, oh, you know, the lady that was in the video with the nice short afro, you know, looked great. And his coworker or whatever, he was like, would you marry, would you like date somebody like that? And he goes like, no. I'm like, no pussy for you then either. Like, I had this friend, he was super hot, he was black, he was fine. And, he was interested in me, but one thing that really turned me off about him is he was very discriminatory against other black people. Like, he was maybe about a little darker than me. And there was this girl, she was pretty too, but she was darker than him, and he like just kind of turned up his nose at her just because she was dark, you know. So it's so funny that laws passed probably to prevent people from Jesse Lee Peterson from discriminating against hiring people, because, you know, if I applied to work for him with my hair, he'd probably have a lot of qualifications, but he'd probably turn me away unless I, like, you know, put a cancer causing perm on my head, a fibroid causing perm on my head. Very interesting, right? So this whole talk about racism is really interesting, because you know, it seems like the loudest black people too that scream out and cry about racism like fucking babies are the ones who are the biggest perpetrators of it, especially of their own people. Okay, like even when I'm talking about, you know, things, when I've made videos about, you know, not being a victim or being in the black community and the abortions and stuff, I get people, the first thing they'll comment on is like my hair, or they'll call me a Haila Hefa. Now that doesn't bother me, I'm used to it. Like, you know, or they'll make fun of the, like, how I speak. You know, they can't formulate arguments and talk like give me a good argument about, you know, why they disagree with me. It's always my physical appearance, you know, which like I said, it just, I let them stay too. I don't even block them because they make me look good because they're so fucking stupid. So I'm like, look, this is what I'm talking about. They're proving my point right now, you know? So I know, when are we going to get over this racism thing? When we really get over this racism thing, it really has to start with ourselves, our own community, right? Because how are we going to, like, get mad at other white people and other races being discriminatory against us when we discriminate against ourselves, okay? Like, seriously. And I'm so blessed that my parents never ever like bought into that shit, because I even as a teacher, you know, when I was teaching little ones and I would see they pick this stuff up easy. They see the hierarchy, and they know that if you're lighter skinned, you're more quote unquote privileged, and if you're darker skinned, you're more looked down upon, and even in your own community. So I don't want to hear anybody, like, you know, cry and scream about white racism when they're just as fucking racist, you know, against their own people, you know? Like, people, even, I mean, it goes back, right? You can say that, you can argue that it did go back as far as slavery, because they used skin color. That was one of the ways that they used to divide and conquer people, through slavery. But guess what, people? Slavery's over. It's over. See, there are no chains on my, I'm not driving. I'm driving a car because there are no chains on my hands. It's over. So now that we know that, even, you know, say that's the thing, that's happened. That's why we have the mentality that we do, but it's over. So we should, like, you know, get some balls, you know, own it and stop it. You know, we can't keep doing this to ourselves, to any other people. And then, you know, it's, I'm speaking on the black issue and the hair issue, but it's funny because Asian people do that shit to each other. They discriminate against, you know, skin color, the darker Asians that are farmers and stuff, and then the lighter Asians that don't work. It's crazy. It's all over the world. Latin people, same thing. You know, it's funny that Tucker Carlson has, like, Jorge Ramos and the other guy, I don't know his name, he's like, Tucker, no, that's wrong, Tucker, no, that's not true, it's not true, Tucker. I don't know the other dude, but anyway, he has him on, and they're like really light-skinned Mexicans that are elitist, but they discriminate against the darker ones, the indigenous ones. So it's funny, you know, I'm just gonna go on a tangent, but you know, people are talking about this area of America being asset land, which I think it was, but it's not anymore. So it's America. But you know, people are like, we're coming to claim the land back that was taken from us. And I'm just like, okay, well, are you gonna go back to Spain? Because the Spanish people conquered the indigenous, in like the Native American race, if you want to call it. There's a race for, I don't know the specific race name, but they're considered a race. The indigenous people of that area were actually taking over from the white people of Spain. Yes, Spanish is a white language. It's a European language. So people want to talk about like the English and the Irish and shit and how they took over. Like the Spanish people did the same thing. They did the same thing. Okay, so those people that want to be like, that are all mixed up now, you can argue that they've even like, you know, like conquered so hard that they've spread their seed all over a whole fucking continent, South America, and then up and then a little bit North America, right? Because most of the people that are Spanish or from South America, they're part white. They're not all like indigenous. Some are still, just like here, you'll find a few like Native Americans that are pure blood, but most of those people, and a lot of them are either part black, part white, part Asian. You know, Brazil has a huge Japanese population. There are a lot of Koreans in Mexico, a lot of Korean immigrants, Chinese immigrants that come to Mexico, which they're very discriminatory against, by the way. So I don't really get this whole thing, like, you know, racism is very prevalent and discrimination is very prevalent in any race, especially, you know, I'm just saying from my point of view, black people. My first few years, like I was like 8 or 9, I don't know, it's probably about 10 or 11. I went to school in Koreatown. I'm from LA, but I went to school what's now called Koreatown. So most of my friends were either fresh off the boat, you know, Asians, or Latino people, or either like first generation. So all my friends were like, you know, and I was like the only black girl in school. Now they were cool, like nobody really made me feel bad. I noticed physically that I looked different than everybody, but nobody really made it a big deal. I honestly did not have trouble until I went to junior high with, guess who? Other black people. And I saw the whole like racial thing. Like it was really tough for me because I was more prepared to deal with racism from other people, but not from my own people, so to speak, not from other black people. It was like mind-boggling and devastating to me for a while. You know, I never talked right. I didn't like the right things. My hair wasn't straight enough. And at the time, my mom did press my hair. I didn't get a perm until late. Because I mean, I got my first perm at like 14, and most people get a perm at like 4 or 5, which now I'm out of that whole like, you know, straighten your hair cult. It's flipping insane that you would even put chemicals like that on a 5-year-old's head. Okay, so but because I got a press, and when it would rain and get wet, my hair would frizz up, and you know, my hair was never straight. So I didn't get, you know, I didn't get the dark skin jokes because I was pretty light, I guess, compared. So it wasn't like that. But but my friend Kanisha, who was gorgeous, she got like all the black jokes, and some of that shit's funny, but you never really think about it until you're kind of older. You see how that affects people, because everybody just clowned everybody, you know. And I got bullied, so I did, you know, some people would say, like, your mom's so black, you know, I shot a bullet at her and the bullet came back for a flashlight. When you're fucking 12, that shit's funny, and you're just like, you're laughing, and you feel bad because you know, like, you know, somebody's feelings. But then somebody made me like hair jokes and shit, like, your hair's so short, you can roll it up with rice, you know. And then I wasn't laughing because they were making fun of my hair. So it kind of, you know, but the whole black thing and the whole dark skin and the whole pretty eyes, and how, you know, if somebody had lighter eyes, they were more favored, and somebody was a little lighter, they were favored, or somebody had like naturally straighter hair, they were more favored than other people. It's the same discrimination that people accuse white people of. And, you know, Jesse Lee Peterson is basically talking about black people and how we are so hateful toward ourselves, but yet he's hateful toward the hair thing. Like, God, the hypocrisy, Len. I'm just getting really turned off by a lot of conservatives because, oh my God, I guess they're proving to be as hypocritical as the left in a lot of ways. And, you know, I should have known because people are people. Really, this whole what's going on with the movement, I mean, it's good that people are walking away from the Democratic Party, but at the end of the day, people are still going to have their own special interests. They're going to have their own blind spots. They're going to have their own stereotypes. They're going to have their own insecurities, their own programming that they're going to have to break through. So anyway, nappy. I love it. I might straighten my hair with heat, but never going back to chemicals because I like hair. I really respect hairstyling as an art form. My cousin does hair. My best friend's ex-girlfriend does hair, and they're both like really good at it, like dyeing, cutting, you know, different. I mean, I love hair. I've even thought about when I've gotten frustrated. I was like, I should just do YouTube hair videos. It's not controversial in the sense where you're going to get a strike for talking about like how to like do twist outs, or I was like, they get so many views, you know, it's probably way more lucrative than, you know, talking about the controversial stuff that I do now. But I mean, I love it. I can do so many things with it. I don't have to worry about things. I can swim. I can do Bikram yoga and sweat my butt off and not worry about, you know, my hair going frizzy. I don't have to worry about somebody like figuring out if I have a weave on or not. And I can travel and not worry about my hair. Like, it's so enslaving on so many levels. I did a video called Hair Slave if you guys want to see that, because this video is getting kind of long. And I kind of explained a little bit more in that video. But I just want to say that, Jesse, this is for you, baby. This is for you. Mushy, mushy. All right. Peace and love, guys. Bye. Mwah.